She's okay. Be a dork.
Okay, so what I was saying is that in my playwriting class that I took a couple years ago, my professor was he's a published playwright. He's really good. His name's Dr. David Rush. He was talking about how your protagonist at some point in the story has to become the agent of action, and this especially applies to like plays, because plays are all about action, but I think it also applies to novels as well, because if action doesn't happen in a story, it's kind of boring. Thank you. Well, anyways, like, it's okay if in the beginning of the story, if the protagonist is kind of, for lack of a better word, he's not an agent of action, or she, because they are just being taken along for the ride, because we as the reader, you know, we identify with that when we first start a story, because we don't know anything about this world, so we're not invested in the story yet, and we're just being taken along for a ride as well, you know. But at some point in the story, the protagonist has to become an agent of action, because they have to, like, at some point stand up and say, I'm going to affect change in this world, I'm going to do something about my circumstances. And, like, the example that I used was Harry Potter. Like, when we first started the Harry Potter series, Harry is not an agent of action. He's just being taken along for the ride. All these people are, like, doing this to him. He gets his Hogwarts letter, Hagrid shows up, takes him to Hogwarts, people are like, oh, you're the famous Harry Potter, blah, blah, blah. And, like, Harry doesn't know anything about this world, so we're okay with that. And then, but at some point, Harry starts becoming an agent of action. He starts affecting change in his world, because, you know, the things that are happening to him and the circumstances that are happening to him are so, oh my god, I'm just rambling. They're just so intense that, you know, we as the readers want him to do something about it. Yeah. We want to do something about it. And so eventually he does become an agent of action, and like in the very last installment of the books, he's like, you know what? I'm not going back to Hogwarts. I'm going to go do what I got to do. I'm going to go find these Horcruxes and defeat Voldemort. And that's what we want him to do. We're like, yes, do it. So, I was just saying that, like, in my novel that I'm working on right now, my protagonist, Drexen, has not become an agent of action yet. And so I'm trying to work on ways to make that happen. Oh, villains! Okay, I think, personally, that the best villains are ones which have a duality to their nature. Like, they're not just, like, 100% bad. They're mostly bad, but, like, they have a flip side to their coin, if you will, where every now and then, like, their humanity shines through, and we can almost relate to them, because we all have what William Goldman called a beast within. So I really like villains that I can relate to. Like, we were saying that House, essentially House, Dr. Gregory House, is a villain, but he's the protagonist of the show. Because, like, he's evil. The dude is evil. But we love him because just when we think he can't get any more evil, he just shows, like, a little tiny bit of his humanity, and we can see that he's actually, like, a broken individual. And so we're like, oh, House is sweet. But he doesn't stay sweet for very long. You know, just long enough for us to give us that little bitty taste. And then he goes right back and does exactly what you would expect him to do. Something selfish